William left the room cockily, leaving Aaron and his family to look at one another helplessly. Caitlin said despondently, "The Rogers family and the Black family are both powerful families with strict household regulations. They do not condone this type of behavior. So I cannot blame them for being mad." Aaron fixated his hateful stare on Levi as he roared, "I can't wait to strangle you to death with my own hands one day." He was about to slap Levi when Zoe stopped her father. "Calm down. We will just apologize to Uncle and Aunt another day." Zoe comforted her parents. "Calm down? He tainted our reputations in front of the Black family and the Rogers family. What are you trying to do, Levi Garrison? Do you want to drive us to our deaths before you change that shitty attitude of yours?" Caitlin pointed at Levi as she rebuked him. Levi said helplessly, "Father, Mother, I really do have to attend the opening ceremony. That's not the issue here. You brought shame to our family and offended Bailey and Pamela. So what if you attend the ceremony? That doesn't change anything. You are still a piece of human trash." Aaron yelled angrily. Caitlin could not contain her wrath too. "Perhaps you can participate in the ceremony because you once stumbled into the God of War due to sheer luck. But he's not acquainted with you at the end of the day. You have nothing to back up your big words as always." Zoe immediately dragged Levi away. "They will force us to get a divorce if we stay there any longer." The next day, Abigail contacted Aaron in the afternoon and told him that her parents had calmed down. Abigail's parents were willing to accept their apology if they bring Levi along and make him ask for their forgiveness sincerely. But they wanted to deal with Aaron and his family only after the opening ceremony ended. Aaron ordered Levi to beg for Bailey and Pamela's forgiveness in person. Otherwise, he would have to divorce Zoe. Levi agreed to his request. The opening ceremony for Kieran's Special Operations Regiment occurred the next day. Kieran contacted Levi early in the morning, informing the latter that he would be picking him up. Levi asked Aaron, Caitlin, and Zoe if they wanted to tag along with him to the opening ceremony, but they scolded him instead. Zoe chided him and told him not to interrupt her during her office hours. Meanwhile, the army sent a car to pick William up. Abigail and her family got into the car together with him. Pamela could not hide her exhilaration for having the opportunity to sit in an army vehicle despite her extraordinary family background. The soldier driving the car said cheerfully, "You guys are so lucky, Will. The King of War, Kieran, will be instructing all of you personally. Most importantly, the God of War wants to give a motivational speech to all of you too." Will was fidgeting in his seat as he could barely contain his excitement to meet with his idol, the God of War. "You are right. I can't believe I am blessed with this good fortune." William smiled in embarrassment. "That's because of your remarkable excellence. They wouldn't have selected you otherwise." Pamela complimented him. The soldier driving the car nodded in agreement. "She's right. You must be an elite soldier to qualify for the training camp." William straightened his back proudly as they flattered him. But disappointment rose within him when he turned to look at Abigail. Abigail was not gazing at Will with admiration as he thought she should be. In contrast, she was acting indifferently. The car entered the military zone after some time. They finally arrived at the training base after another hour. All of them were impressed by the sight of soldiers equipped with actual weapons standing guard all over the place. The participants for the training camp and their families were arranged to sit in a large, vacated area. A total of 100 participants were selected to join the training camp. Everyone was looking around enthusiastically as if it was their first day of enlistment in the army. Someone whispered, "It's better to keep quiet in this place to prevent offending anyone here. They're all formidable men." "You're right. There are plenty of veterans attending the training camp for the first time, but they are already part of the Special Operations Regiment. William was not his usual arrogant self after hearing the whispers. He stayed silent and became timid among the crowd. Pamela and the others were more excited than frightened. The people inside this base are all highly ranked soldiers and impressive men in the army. We can count ourselves lucky to be acquainted with just a few of them. All right. Friends and families, come over here. I want all the soldiers to follow me. In the end, the crowd was segregated into two groups. The soldiers were crouching in front while their families sat behind on the benches provided. Pamela and Bailey were overjoyed to see the colonels and officers lined up in front of them. Pamela began to scan her surroundings as a thought popped into her mind. She sneered after examining the crowd. Levi Garrison is a joke. Didn't he say he'll be attending as well? Where is he? I can't even spot his shadow among all these people. Don't tell me you believe in that scum's words? I did not even take him seriously last night, Bailey responded mockingly. Abigail started looking for Levi as well. She thought Levi would come, but she did not see him anywhere. Will had already searched the crowd with his gaze, and he did not encounter Levi either. He thought to himself sarcastically. Where are you, Levi Garrison? You're just a piece of human trash good at talking big at the end of the day. Quiet down, everyone. The King of War, Kieran, will make an appearance soon. An officer waved his hand in front to signal everyone. The crowd fell silent as they held their breaths involuntarily, waiting for the King of War to show himself. A military SUV drove into the area shortly after. The soldiers and guards saluted immediately at the sight of the vehicle. A murmur of excitement rippled through the crowd. The God of War is here. Pamela and Bailey stared unblinkingly at the SUV. A young man dressed in a military outfit with one star embedded on his shoulder got out of the car. That man was the King of War, Kieran. Every soldier gazed at him with respect after he got out of the car. All the family members gasped in terror when they saw Kieran's appearance. The King of War is such a young man? Everyone's eyes were still fixated on the SUV because they assumed the next person to come out of the car would be the God of War. But they were met with disappointment. Someone was seated inside the SUV, but he did not get out of the car. Kieran moved forward and addressed the crowd. First of all, I want to welcome everyone to the training camp's opening ceremony. Next, I have a statement to announce. The God of War himself is seated inside the car. But there are privacy rules to follow in the army. Non-military personnel are not allowed to meet with him. Everyone was well aware of the privacy rules, but they could not help feeling a little regretful for missing the opportunity to meet with the God of War. Even William Ramos was disheartened. Kieran added, however, the God of War will meet with the newcomers later. The passion returned to William's deadpan eyes instantaneously. I can finally meet my idol. The friends and families of the participants stared intently at the SUV in an attempt to discern the God of War's figure. Pamela Rogers and Bailey Black did that too. Pamela even put on a pair of glasses to aid with her eyesight. Abigail looked in the direction of the SUV curiously as well. Suddenly, she exclaimed subconsciously, "Why does he resemble my brother-in-law?" Pamela was shocked. You think so too? That man inside the car does look like Levi Garrison. Let me see. Bailey Black put on his glasses and narrowed his eyes at the SUV. I think this person does look similar to him too. Abigail and her parents exchanged glances with one another as a thought flashed across their minds. Could Levi Garrison be the God of War? But they quickly erased that idea. That's impossible. If Levi is the God of War, why did he let Aaron and Caitlin live in such a small room? Why is Aaron still driving a Havel if his son-in-law is so capable? Say, will the god of war wear a military outfit if he's here in the army base? Bailey asked suddenly. Of course. This is such an important ceremony. Abigail and her mother answered at the same time. They did not believe the god of war to be Levi despite the resemblance in appearance. At that moment, someone got out of the car. That person was Azure Dragon dressed in his military outfit. Kieran nodded in Azure Dragon's direction when he sensed his movements. That must be the god of war. Everyone gazed in that direction frantically. The outsiders thought that only the god of war could trigger such respectful acknowledgement from Kieran. But they did not know it was normal for Kieran to greet Azure Dragon that way because the latter was Kieran's senior. Moreover, Azure Dragon's rank was blocked by the car because he got down from the other side of the vehicle. So the crowd assumed him to be the god of war. I am right. There's no way Levi Garrison is the god of war. I am satisfied with this outcome now. We've finally seen the god of war's great appearance. Pamela and her husband were exhilarated. Everyone was under the impression that they had met with the actual god of war. But they did not know that Azure Dragon deliberately got out of the car to ventilate the air inside the vehicle because Levi wanted to smoke. The opening ceremony ended quickly. Pamela Rogers and Bailey Black had their wish fulfilled as they were acquainted with Kieran before they left. However, they did not know that Levi had arranged for Kieran to look for Abigail on purpose. Pamela and Bailey were contented because they thought the meeting with Kieran was due to fate. The newcomers were gathered together after their friends and families left. William and the other soldiers were agitated because they would be meeting the god of war now. Levi got out of the car and walked toward the group of soldiers with Azure Dragon beside him. William was positioned at the back of the platoon, so he could not get a good look at the ongoing scene. He barely made out the newly appeared figures. Oh. That person's silhouette looks like Levi Garrison, William uttered to himself in astonishment with a frown. Levi and Azure Dragon stood in front of the platoon. Clarity washed over everyone when they saw Azure Dragon's rank. He's not the god of war. The god of war is the man standing next to him. That man in casual wear. Kieran came to a halt in front of Levi and saluted him. Report, sir. We have gathered all the newcomers. Please provide us with further instructions. Kieran's gesture had indirectly reflected Levi's status. Levi raised his voice firmly, at ease, soldiers. All the newcomers made a similar and synchronized movement upon receiving the order. Everyone panted heavily as they gazed at the god of war in awe, who was merely a few steps away from them. Color drained from William's face after he discerned Levi's face. He's the god of war? I'm not mistaken, right? Levi Garrison is the god of war. No wonder he said he could attend the ceremony at will. He even mentioned the ceremony would not proceed without him. William's heart was beating in his throat as adrenaline coursed through his body. He was scared out of his wits. When he looked up, William noticed Levi was staring at him with a smile. Fear overwhelmed him at that acknowledgement. Thump. William's vision went black as he passed out on the ground. Everyone was stunned. We are excited, but his condition is simply an exaggeration. Levi asked coldly, where is this soldier from? What's with that terrible stamina and fragile body? He is William Ramos from South City's South War Zone, sir. Someone reported immediately. Kieran said furiously. How did he qualify the selection with that kind of stamina? Send him back to where he came from. Afterwards, Levi's brief pep talk to the soldiers marked the beginning of the training camp. Aaron visited Levi's house when he returned home that night. He was there to inform Levi that Pamela and Bailey were willing to accept his apology that night because they were in a good mood. Okay. I'll go, Levi agreed. He also reserved a table at Grand Royal Restaurant with Zoe. Abigail and her parents arrived after a short while. Pamela and Bailey were over the moon as they smiled dazzlingly the whole time. They were even polite to Aaron and Caitlin when they exchanged greetings. Why are you so happy? Let us be a part of the joy too. Aaron and Caitlin were intrigued. Pamela was pleased. This is all because of Will. Not only did we become acquainted with the King of War, Kieran, during the ceremony earlier, but we also got to see the God of War's appearance. Abigail nodded in agreement. Really? You're now acquainted with Kieran? Aaron was caught in excitement. I want to get to know these influential figures too. Exhilaration was written all over Bailey's face. That's right. He even knows our names. He said Abigail looks like his sister. What? The King of War, Kieran, knows your names? Oh my God. Caitlin was astounded. Pamela explained, they had our information as well as Will's, so they know everyone about us. I think Kieran accepted us as part of his circle. Why else would he take the initiative to meet with us? Bailey nodded. Yes. We do have the qualifications and background to be included in his circle. Kieran told us to look for him if we face any trouble in the future. Aaron and Caitlin could not be more jealous about Abigail and her family's luck. I am very happy today. Do not hesitate to contact me if you need any help in the future, Caitlin, Bailey said to his sister. Thank you, Bailey. Thank you. Aaron and Caitlin expressed their gratitude immediately. We have been waiting for so long for him to say that. Bailey shifted his gaze onto Levi. But he must apologize first. Yes, that's right. He needs to say that he's sorry. Otherwise, we will never accept all of you. Pamela was determined. Abigail whispered to Levi as she was caught in a difficult position too. Please don't mind this, Levi. Zoe urged him as well. Just do as they say. I'm very sorry, Uncle and Aunt. I shouldn't have talked back to you yesterday. Levi apologized. Okay. I will forgive you because I am in a good mood today. Pamela waved her hand. Bailey questioned him suddenly. By the way, did you attend the ceremony today? We did not see you there just now. Pamela stared at Levi mockingly. Let's listen to his excuse. I went. But you were not qualified to meet with me. Levi told them the truth. But his honesty infuriated Pamela and Bailey. They glared at him in fury. Aaron and Caitlin were dumbfounded. We poured in so much effort to finally get on good terms with them. But Levi has to ruin everything again. Zoe was dazed. What did he say? The door to the private room was pushed open just as Pamela and Bailey were about to unleash their anger. Mr. Black, Madam Rogers, something terrible has happened. Mr. Ramos was kicked out from the Northampton war zone because he is not qualified to join the training camp due to his poor body condition. They will be sending him into the room now.